my name is Tina Leader. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit that subscribe button and of course hit the bell button so you get notified on my next video. I grew up loving the color pink. I was your stereotypical girly girl. I made sure my bed was floral and it was beautifully pink and it had ruffles and everything. I loved all of those things. Throughout time, and this is starting even in elementary school in the 90s into the 2000s, there was this big movement where females were really claiming their independence because of this whole entire social movement that females have to make sure that they don't ever need a man, forget the man. And there was almost, it wasn't an empowerment, it almost felt like a hate towards men. And I think that's what I've taken on, even though I grew up with these Disney films and I loved the whole love stories. I'm such a romantic, right? But on the other hand, I grew this a sort of hate, and I feel like males have grew this sort of hate as well, right? Just as a female thinks to herself, okay, I never want a man to control me, I never want a man tell me what to do, I never want to be a stay-at-home mom because that means that a man has control, and all of this, right? And a man, same thing. I never want to have a woman in my life control me. I never want to pay for anything for her because that means she's a gold digger, and all these fears that a man carries. It makes sense. But we lost the art of partnerships. It's something that even I had taken years and years to really realize, wow, actually, partnerships exist. Not only does it exist, it's almost vital in order to fulfill and do what it is that I need to do in life. So it's not I need to get either married or focus on my career. The most successful people that I know, women that I know and men that I know, actually are partnered. Their partners are not a liability. They are a vital asset to their success. And it's not an either or situation. I think it comes down to the fact that we demonize partnerships so much because we demonized marriage, because we demonize being in a feminine or masculine role, because we believe that we can do everything on our own and we don't need anybody. We have to prove that we can do everything by ourselves and not ever rely on anybody else. And I think that is the fundamental mistake that I know I have made throughout the years. This is why I never grew up thinking as feminine as I was, and as much as I loved pink, and then therefore I actually lied to people and I said my favorite color was blue, even though it was pink. And that's really significant. It actually makes me very emotional because at that early age of like 6 years old, I felt that I had to suppress being feminine. I had to suppress me saying that I like pink because so many people, including the girls at the time, they made fun of me because I was too girly, right? And I had to lie and say I love the color blue. Now, blue was a beautiful color, but it wasn't my favorite color. And I had to consistently lie and live into this role of trying to make myself more masculine and more boyish. And even though I loved wearing dresses so much, I decided to wear pants instead. I decided to wear jeans instead. I decided to dress with a jersey on because that was like the thing in the early 2000s. Just do all of these things that made me more boyish, right? Because that was the thing, and we couldn't be too feminine because femininity was seen as something weak, innately weak, right? So whether it was a male being feminine or a female being feminine, just femininity in general was weak. And so as females were dismissing femininity, the females who wanted to go into that role or step into that role was made fun of, and we were pushed to the side in society because now we were being labeled as good for nothings in this world, right? And so I think that definitely shaped how I grew up. it definitely shaped how confident I was with myself. I felt like I always had to be somebody I wasn't in order to fit in, right? In order to be this ideal woman, which is the girl who like can hang with the guys and can do sports or whatever it is. And I was just always so struggling, just throughout, struggling, because I knew that wasn't who I was, even though society was telling me that that's who I needed to be. And luckily, I became a nanny. I think I subconsciously chose the families I wanted to work with based on the women, and these females were very much so strong, feminine, right? But they knew how to control the household, but they were on fire at work as well, right? High earners, but also still living in their femininity. They weren't afraid to say, you know what, I don't want to watch no sports game or drink beer. I actually just want to go to the spa and drink wine, and that's okay, right? I always chose women like that because I think I wanted to subconsciously learn from them. It wasn't until then that I realized, wow, okay, so I guess a marriage is an actual partnership, and a partnership requires that the person you are with is not your enemy. It requires you two having each other's back no matter what at the end of the day. It requires a constant communication. I was so surprised on how these super ambitious female and male who are married, how much they communicated. And I don't know how they did work at all, to be honest. Sometimes it was crazy between them and then their child. I would tell the mom something. As soon as I told the mom, I knew, boom, the father somehow knew. Obviously, she probably texted him or something, but it was an instant communication happening. And everybody was just on point always because they were a true partnership. And I didn't grow up like that. I realized, you know what, I think this can work. I think I actually want to be married, but I never realized that I wanted to be married because it was so looked down upon growing up, because divorce is the only word you hear when people say marriage. And actually, it's just so funny. It's inevitable almost that when somebody says the word marriage, or I'm getting married, or oh, maybe I want to get married, or some sort of topic of marriage, the topic of divorce always comes up. It's like we don't even know how to actually form a true partnership. Nobody does that with a friendship. And I'm talking about lifelong best friends. When I talk about my best friend, nobody ever says, but you know, you got to be prepared because, you know, you may part ways. And so you got to make sure your wall is up and they're not actually your partner. You got to make sure you have your own thing going on, right? They never say that. It's not a thing. And I understand you have to have a certain level of trust, right? And in this society, we haven't really built an environment where we are made to trust each other. We're actually made to distrust each other. It's kind of like a fully diversified financial portfolio. It's not required that you have a good partner in your life to excel in life and be the best version of yourself. However, it's a big portion. You really need that piece for your financial portfolio to be fully diversified and strong. I do feel like people are too bogged down on bad relationships. Now, bad relationships, just like any bad investments, is going to bring you down. At the end of the day, you have to look at the numbers, right? You have to look at, does this bring a positive ROI? And any good investment, it's going to be a long-term, a stable, good investment. Now, some people do like flipping investments, but those are not, that's more of a job than an investment, if that makes sense. Because once you set that up, not that you neglect it and you could just do whatever it is that you're doing, you always have to reinvest back into it, right? The money that you made, you have to reinvest back into it to see it compound and grow. I truly believe that in relationships and social relationships, whether it's a romantic partnership or in a friendship or in co-workers or in clients, whatever it is. But it's important to reinvest back into those relationships, whatever relationships you're talking about. And it's just like a financial portfolio. Like if you agree, you like how I threw that in there. I think you need a partner. I truly believe that we need to partner up. We need to not be afraid of dating, not being afraid of forming those strong relationships for the fear of losing things, right? Of losing a relationship or of getting your heart broken, or of thinking that they're going to secretly screw you over. And as long as you're in the mindset that you would never do that to your partner, consciously or even subconsciously, because of what society has programmed us to do and us to think, right? I just truly believe that that's the way. Comment below, do you agree that having a strong, good partner in your life, a lifetime partner, is actually going to help you excel in life and be the best version of yourself and be able to actually focus on your purpose and your destiny and your path in life? And do you have a partner in your life that fulfills that? So comment below, I love to know. And if you're on your way, then follow me as well. I will see you in the next video if you subscribe and hit that bell button.